welcome back to my channel. This is a late night video. This is late night talk time with Karma. No, I'm just funny. What's up, y'all? If you are new to my channel, my name is Karma, and on my channel, I talk about everything, manifestation. Sometimes I still talk about astrology, like just whatever I'm going through, whatever is going on, that's what I talk about, right? So, welcome to my channel. So breaking generational curses, right? This lighting makes me feel like ashen. But nevertheless, I digress. So, breaking generational curses. What is a generational curse, right? That's what you have to ask yourself. Like, what is a generational curse? Like, it's going to vary from family to family or family structure to family structure, right? So, for instance, you know, a person may come from a line of a family who never went to college, right? And then a kid comes out of their line who goes to college, you know, and graduates and goes all the way, and then the family is proud of them, right? And then that person sets the precedence for the mom may go back to college, or the grandma may get back to go back to college, right? Breaking generational curses. Or even with marriage, like, and nowadays you'll see a lot of families, a lot of people who have families where the women have never been married, right? Or the women have been married, but they get divorced. And it feels like it's a generational curse. It feels like it happened to my grandma, it happened to my mom. It's going to happen to me, right? And it's because it's what you've seen in the 3D. And you know what I'm saying? It's what you've been seeing in your 3D. You've grown up seeing this. It's stuff you hear old wives tells your mama or whoever been saying to you, or your auntie been saying to you, or whatever it may be. Or like you know what I'm saying? And just it's just all you've known, and it's all you've seen in your family, and so it feels like it can be a generational curse, right? And then, like I said, a child comes along or a family person comes along who wants to break that generational curse. Yes, of course, generational curses can be broken. They are broken all the time, and for some reason, we see it as that person being the black sheep, or we see it as that person being I'm like, oh, they just special, or they were just destined for greatness, or da da da. And yes, of course they were special. Yes, of course they were destined for greatness, but beyond that, they intentionally sought out to break that generational curse. And when you doing that, it's a day-to-day thing. It's a day-to-day commitment, and it's a day-to-day decision that I'm going to break this generational curse. And the first thing you would do is you would, like me, I'm a list person, right? You will write down, sometimes you would need to write down the things you don't want, right? And then you look at them and you will say, okay, how am I going to fix this, right? How am I going to fix that, right? And then you start seeking out the knowledge to make that change within you, right? And often that journey kind of leads you to manifestation, or it leads you to how can I get a degree, you know, if I'm the first month. It leads you to people, places, and things who will help you along the way. It becomes your bridge of incidences, right? And it's just, you know, but you fight a lot mentally when you try to break a generational curse, because you fighting against what happened to your mom, or what happened to your auntie, or what happened to your, like, you fighting against the things that you've seen in your 3D for so many years, and you saying that's not going to happen to me. My outcome is going to be different. I'm going to be the change in my family. I'm going to set the precedence to show them that this family can have healthy marriages, this family can have college graduates. Like, I'm just telling you, you know, these are like everyday, day-to-day things that people can relate to what I'm saying, and I intend for it to make sense for who it's supposed to make sense to. So when you seek out to break a generational curse, right, it doesn't happen overnight. It has to be a bridge of instance, because you have to learn, you know, you have to learn self-control and self-concept, because you have to say to yourself, I'm going to go to school every day and I'm going to finish. And you have to wake up every day and commit yourself to that goal in order to graduate from college. Let's just put it like that, right? So with getting an SP, right, it's like you breaking a generational curse of, oh, my ex has always done me, or oh, I'm never chosen, right? In my reality, they always choose the other person, right? Because you've seen this happen in your 3D in the past, right? But side note, that's why it's a good idea to go back and rewrite your past. I have an affirmation. It's basically, nobody can betray me in my reality. Nobody has ever betrayed me in my past, right? I've been saying that to myself, and I do have that belief. And then what happens is people have been coming to me in my reality. I've had somebody come to me in my reality to hash something out, and they didn't even remember what happened, right? Because nobody can betray me in my reality. You rewriting the past. And so you have to, but you have to take accountability to a manifestation, right? You have to take accountability because you are always going to be you, no matter what you manifesting. So you are feeding into you, and you are pouring into you, and you pouring knowledge into yourself. So where you would say something like, all my exes broke my heart. Okay, stop right there. So you need to look at, why did they break my heart? Okay. How was I showing up? Was I showing up as the best version of me? Was I showing up knowing how awesome I am? Knowing how knowledgeable I am, knowing how open I am to learn? Am I learning what makes them happy too? Like, you have to ask yourself these things. You know, you can't beat yourself up. You have to, at some point, take accountability and be like, okay, self, I contributed to this, what more my thoughts have been. Of course, you didn't know back then about manifestation, and you didn't know how you were creating what led to that. But the good news is, now that you know now, you can recreate your past, right? With the blanket affirmations such as, no one can ever break my heart, my reality, and no one ever has, right? And then you have to let go of the old story. You have to let go of the old story. And I told you, the old story could have been 10 years ago. It could have been last week. It's old now. It's dead and gone. You can go back in your mind and revisit it and revise it, but it's still gone. Now you're creating for your future. Breaking generational curses. You know, you're always ever going to be only what you see yourself as being. You're always only going to have in your reality only what you see yourself as having, right? And I just thought about this story. Okay, so like when I had my store, I had went to Home Depot, right? I had this open space where I could put like shirts and jeans and stuff like that. And I wanted some type of sliding barn door um to cover the space, right? And so I went to Home Depot thinking that maybe you could just buy like a track, some wheels, and a door and throw it up, right? And in essence, you can, because they actually do have sliding barn kits, right? But I needed them to be like half a door size, right? And so I was trying to explain to the worker what I was looking for, right? Just like I said to you guys. And they were like, "Oh, there's no such a thing, da da da." And I was like, "Okay." But I've seen sliding barn doors in my reality. I've looked it up online, so it's a thing, right? And so I ended up finding a contractor who did exactly what I said. He just got the sliding door and had cut it in half, and it was, it was on a track. But I had imagined in my mind what I wanted, right? And then it played out. But I want to say this. So when I had said okay to the Home Depot worker, right? Because at this point I was learning about manifestation. So I'm like, okay, well, that doesn't seem right. And then I had to realize that a person puts a ceiling over their life, right? And they stay there forever if they don't seek for knowledge. So in that person's mind, the sliding barn doors never existed, were never made, and they will never be found by them because they couldn't even open up their mind to hear what I'm telling them. When in fact, sliding barn doors have been around for a long time, right? But that person has a ceiling cap. I mean, like a top to where they can go, right? But no one has a limit to what they can think or what they can create. But you have to know that, right? So in my 3D, I could have sat there and argued, pulled up on my phone, tried to show this person, right? I could have, but I didn't even have time for that because I had to get up out of there because I was just trying to come for the door. But it just was like, it was like sad for me to see that person who mind couldn't go past, it can't be created, it's not out there, when there's thousands of different sliding doors out there. But because they have never seen it at their store, they have this limited belief that it doesn't exist. And that's like, and that's a generational curse, right? So some point in time has to come along, or someone has to come along. It could have been me. I could have been the person to say, no, no, this is what it looks like. This is what it. I just didn't have time for all that. I didn't feel like it. But it was a lesson for me because we'll put a cap on what we believe is possible in this reality. Well, now we don't because we know about manifestation. But I think about before I knew what manifestation was and how I may have put I put a cap on certain things in my life and they hindered me. And as I got older and I realized how it had been a generational curse because there are things that I've seen in my family that I wanted to break, right? It made me want to seek out knowledge more of how to break a generational curse. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you gonna be you're gonna be whatever the thing is that you no longer gonna be or wanna be. You're gonna find yourself googling how to not be that, or you'll find yourself reading books on how to be this certain way. That's why I say I'm a list person, because I'll write down a list of things I want to work on, things I want to change, and then I just start slowly by saying affirmations like, "Oh, I am that I say that I am. I am chosen. I am worthy. I am his wife. I am having several streams of income," right? And then as you say these things and you say them on a continuous basis, you repeat them, you write them down, you see them, the universe moves things around so that these things can come into fruition. So you have friends that'll reach out and say, "Hey, I have this business idea. Let's go in on it. We can make money." Or you'll have, an old coworker that'll email you like, "Hey, I'm at this new place. They got a position that'll fit you well." If you don't like, things are gonna move around for you to get the job, the income, the notoriety, the fame, whatever it is. But if you waking up every day and looking at your three like, "Oh, this ain't gonna work. It's not gonna happen today," then it cannot happen that day. You only are ever going to have what you say you are having. That's why the manifestation coaches tell you to say, "I am a millionaire. I am abundant." Because when you say it and then you learn the energy of saying it and then you go in your mind and create the fact of saying it, the universe, the law of this universe has no choice but to move things around in your reality to make you having that thing which you say that you are having. So if you're saying, "I have a happy committed relationship. I'm in a loving, committed relationship," right? And then you catch the feeling of that because the feeling is a secret. And then instead of you looking for this relationship, because where are you looking for this relationship at? Like, where are you looking for the money to come from? The money is only ever energy that you put out. The money is only ever energy that you put out. So why are you looking to the 3D for something that's coming to you energetically? And plus, there is always movement behind the scenes. We have to learn how to break the generational curse of not believing that things are going to work for us because we can't see the result right now. That is false. It does not matter if you cannot see the result right now. It's still working in your favor. Things are still working behind the scenes. We live in a hologram. And even if you see something that goes totally against what you're manifesting for, do not give it any energy. Do not feed it. Rewrite it, ignore it, and let it go. And the very next second, you shift back to the reality where that thing is working out. And that's really how it works. And I think it's a generational curse, right? For us to keep reverting back to our old way of thinking that, "Oh, this isn't going to work for me," or, "Oh, I'm not going to get my SP," or, "That $1 million check ain't coming in the mail." You know what I'm saying? And even if you have a doubt, it's okay. And if you say it, guess what? So what? Then you want to curb that with no. That's when you got to go inside your mind and fight it. No, this money is coming. I am going to have this thing that I say I am. I am going to get my heart's desire. The desire of my heart is going to be my wish fulfilled. It's going to, like, you have to break that generational thinking of it's not going to happen because we are creating a new future for us now. There is no way at this point, if you hear on this video, that you should still be thinking with the old frame of mind anyway. We have changed our frame of mind on this channel. The way I used to think a year ago, I couldn't even try to think that way now. I wouldn't want to manifest that in my reality anyway. And I just wouldn't want my old way of thinking because my old way of thinking kept giving me the same results. And that's what really, really pushed me to really learn the core values and techniques and principles of manifestation because I didn't like how things were necessarily going, right? And I wanted to correct and break a lot of generational curses that I seen within my family, and I did. Like, now, to me, my channel is successful. I mean, I will have 1 million viewers one day. I will. But even with the viewers I have now, I'm very grateful for the numbers that I have. I've made plenty of money on YouTube. So you would be a fool to think that you need to have a million subscribers to make money on this here thing, because you don't. All you need is some content that you were serious about and that you're going to be consistent with and stick to. You will make money on here. And that's why, like, if you ever look at my bio, I say I conquered YouTube, because I made my first $1,000 on here in 2022. So to me, that was a win. To me, that was a conquer. Maybe I didn't make the million subscribers that year, but I made the amount of money I said I wanted to make, and then it's like nothing but up from there, right? And I just feel like the work I'm doing is what I wanted to do, right? Like, because I've always wanted to be like a life coach. Well, I wanted to be a relationship coach, right? But then I feel like, well, you get the feeling of, well, I'm not married, so how can I be a coach, right? Because the first thing I would say is, if someone gave me some advice, I'd be like, are you married? Because how is a single person going to give a person advice on how to be married, right? So I said, okay. But you look at the flip side. I've been engaged before, so I can definitely tell you about being in a relationship, right? And engagement and stuff. I can give you advice on what I do know about. But the things I don't know about, I will have to study, and then let them play out in my 3D. And then I feel like I give you advice. But it doesn't mean that I have nothing to add to society or to people or whatever. Breaking a generational curse is seeing the things that you used to be, and then waking up every day determined to not follow that route anymore. Determined to seek whatever knowledge it is going to take for you to get to your goal. Yes, manifestation sometimes can be, I don't have to lift a finger. If you hear snoring, that's my baby right there. But manifestation sometimes can be not have to lift a finger, right? And I do, and sometimes, and I do that. If I'm manifesting something and it's starting to just, it's something, the energy is some type of way, because I never want to say it's not working for me, right? Then I immediately will say stuff like, I'm not going to lift a finger for this to work out. And and when I get into that energy of, I'm not lifting a finger for this to work out, the stuff works out. Because if I find myself trying to control the 3D, I know it's time for me to back up and just say, I don't have to lift a finger for this to get done. And then BBL happens in my reality to show me that, okay, it is working out in my favor. But you should not be looking to the 3D as a determinant if you're going to get such and such and so. So, like, if you want to make like, oh, yesterday was 11/11, okay, this happened. Like, cool, you can make up the rules for your reality, but there's nothing that's happening in your 3D that's determining that stuff is going to work for you. What's determining that stuff is going to work for you is the fact that you've already created it in your mind, and you live in the embodiment of having that. Breaking generational curses. Anybody at any time can be raised up from their bloodline or family line to break a generational curse. It just starts with seeing whatever it is that you want to break that's been a history for your pattern, and then seeking the information to change it, and then really implement it, washing your brain with the new ideals. Dare I say, renewing your mind. That's what the renewal of your mind, that's what it means. It means you are saturating your mind with these ideals and thoughts that you are now putting there intentionally. And you want them to become your dominant thoughts. You want them to become your relay thoughts. Like if you see your SP talking to somebody, right, you instantly be like, oh, that's just a friend. They talking about nothing. You would never make that person a 3P. Why? Does that serve purpose to your manifestation? No. So write whatever story you want to write. Hold on to the energy of that person is nobody. SP hates them, or whatever you want to say. Okay, do what you want. And then trust and knowing that it plays out in your favor, because it's always working out in your favor. Even if you get triggered by something you see in the 3D, it's still always working in your favor. Breaking generational curses. Breaking generational curses. The journey to changing your family history, or the journey to being the different one in your family, is doable. Okay? Don't give up on your manifestation. Don't give up on breaking your generational curse. You're saying that you are a millionaire, right? And you're the first millionaire in your family. That is in essence breaking a generational curse, because you are changing what the history has been from your forefather or your grandpa, grandmother, whatever, to now this is what we are having in my family. This is what I'm creating. And then, because once you break that generational curse, you in there if you're smart, if you really know what you're doing. Because now you, like, say, now you got the money. What you want to do? You want to buy property for your children to have, to leave to your children, or for your, you know what I'm saying? Like how our grandfathers and stuff used to do. Like, now you breaking the generational curse. Now you leaving generational wealth for your family. You, because you just, and all you dare do is dream, right? And create it in your mind. And then when you are called to act, act. Now, like I said, you can make your blanket affirmation. I don't have to lift a finger for this to happen, but there are times when you're gonna have to move too, right? There are times when you're gonna feel inspired to move. Dare I say, you're gonna know the right movements to make for your manifestation to come true. Okay. I just wanted to say this because I remember when I was in a mind frame of despair, and I felt like I'll never be different from my family, generational, da da da, right? Like, but because I want to be a star. I do. I want to be like famous. Like, I want fame, right? Not like every corner of the earth fame. I'm not Jesus, but I do want to be like famous, like beyond my room. And when I manifest it, I want to really be great, right? And not even necessarily just for my YouTube, but really for my life coaching skills, because I feel like now I know how to help others change their frame of mind. If they're coming to me with the open mind, then I can help implement them to change, right? Breaking a generational curse for myself and for those around me, because you like lately, really, maybe in the last few years, I really been like focusing on what is the purpose of life. To me, that's an important question. I feel like that's a question that only you can know the answer to, though, right? Only because whatever your purpose of your life is, only you want to know it. But as I seek out the answer to that question, a lot of little different things happen in my life. I lost it within the last 4 years. I lost two really good, like, female friends of mine, right? And with that loss, with those losses, it made me be like, well, whatever the purpose is to my life, I need to get on it now. I need to do it now. I need to act on it now while I'm in the now, right? And so that was when I opened my store at one time, and I'm always like pushing forward towards the future, because I understand the awareness of now, of acting now, of creating now for the future, right? So for me, the purpose of life, what is the purpose of life is really personal. Like, I ain't gonna share with y'all what I believe the purpose of life is. But because it's a personal journey for me, right? But it's a journey that once I started asking that question to the universe, when I started asking the universe what is the meaning of life, friends passed, right? And then I had a kind of like had a heartbreak, right? Like, so little stuff was happening to me, and when it was going on, I was feeling like, why is this happening? But now looking back, I understand it was my Bridget incidents, and even though the 3D was trying to show me, other stuff, I had to stay strong to what is the purpose of life? What's my reason for be here? What am I contributing to this world? What am I giving back? What am I leaving as a legacy? What generational curse can I break so that my children up under me can be able to create beyond what I have created with knowing about manifestation? Because I do teach my children about manifestation, especially my little one. She be manifesting left and right. I always tell y'all, like, how, like, I hate McDonald's. Right. Well, I don't hate McDonald's, but it ain't good for you. And then, like, I do cook. I do cook. Now, if you're on my Instagram or whatever, you'll see I do cook. But sometimes, even though I don't want to give her no McDonald's or something, I still do it because maybe we running late, or I won't have time to cook, or nobody took the chicken out the freezer. You know how it be. And I always think to myself, like, oh, she definitely manifested this, because ain't no way. Or case in point, let me tell you how my baby really manifests. And I'm gonna tell you a story about how she manifests, and I'm gonna tell you why it's important. So her birthday is coming up, right? And all week I was supposed to be getting her some invitations, y'all, to pass out to her little friends at school, right? So here it is. It's her birthday Saturday, so I get home, she whatever, she at the door. Hey mom, did you get my invitations? And I'm like, yeah, I just need to fill them out, right? So now I'm like, oh shite. I gotta get in my room and do something because everything closed by this way. Ain't no Walmart, ain't no Walgreens. And I ain't getting up early in the morning doing none of that foolishness, right? So I get to fumbling in my little arts and crafts box. And I found this pack of little tags, 11 of them. And I could fill them out. So I filled them out and I got her invitations now for tomorrow, right? Because people, places, and things had to move for that to work out for my little baby, right? Mind you, the little cards were actually for something else that I didn't end up using that project for, but I just still kept them, right? And then now they just slipped right into the place. They were the right size. They're cute and they have little cartoons on them, so it's kid like thing. So I didn't even have to go out and buy an invitation. I literally already had the invitations here that I needed for her, so she'll have them tomorrow. And I say that to say this: you need to be manifesting as if you were a child. Just imagine how if you when you dropped your child off at school, right? And you told your child, okay, when you get out of school, we're gonna go get some candy. Let me tell you, they're gonna think about that candy all day. They're gonna be playing, having fun, doing their letters and doing their numbers. Oh, but that candy that you promised them is gonna pop up in their mind because now it's a dominant thought. Instantly, it became a dominant thought. And children, that's why you have to have the mind of a child, really, really, to really, really get this. So then they intensify the feeling. They get the feeling of, oh, I'm getting this candy. So you know the first thing they're gonna do when you pick them up, did you get the candy? Mom, no. Okay, when are we going? And you can go straight home, but that kid is not gonna leave you alone. They're gonna bother you. Even if you say whatever, they're not gonna forget. And that night while they watching TV, doing their homework, rolling around, messing up your house, the candy is still on their mind, and they're still gonna come in here and ask you, are we still going? Or you'll see them moping around, whatever the case may be, usually with me until I end up going to the store and getting and doing what I said I was going to do. Because I like to always do what I said I'm going to do anyway. But I think about the persistence of a kid when they want something from you, when you tell them you're going to do something and they do not let up. They are relentless until you get it done. And that's how you need to be about breaking the generational curse and your manifestations. You need to have the mind of a child. You need to think about your SP as a piece of candy that your mama promised you. You want your piece of candy. You gonna think about this piece of candy. You gonna imagine yourself eating this piece of candy. You've already seen this piece of candy. Side note, when I think about my daughter, right, and how she was asking about the invitations, like, right? Because so you know it's been on her mind all day at school. You know it's been on her mind while I was out away from her and I came back, right? And so I said to myself, I think my baby is a visualizer. Like she can't really say these things. She'll be 7 Saturday, so her vocabulary isn't really that. I mean, like her understanding is very vast. My baby is very wise. That's why I think she's going to be a powerful manifester. But so I can't say like asking her, oh, did you see? Like I can't ask her about things she see in her 4D. But me being her mother and knowing her and her energy and how she operates, I know that she has already envisioned herself giving her friends these tickets, and she relentless until it plays out in her 3D. And that's how we need to be with anything we do. Anything we operate in, any power we operate in, we need to be operating with the mind of a child who is persistent for getting what they want. And you get what you want and fairly quickly. And it's like, and I felt, I knew regardless of to the fact that even if I had to sit here and draw up some invitations, because I do have a lot of arts and crafts and stuff, I could do it. But ultimately, I knew that once I heard her say it and it was in my awareness and I went about my day and I forgot to go by Walmart and da da da, I still knew that I was going to make it happen for her no matter what. I felt inspired to move and to act and to make sure that she had them. Even though I could have just said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I couldn't get them. Just let your friends know, or just give them a piece of paper." Like you could have did anything, but no, I actually purposely know that she manifested the actual invitations, and I just imagine in her baby mind that she see herself giving them to her friends, and now I feel so honored and so great to be able to help her to fulfill her little heart's desires, right? And her little wish to be fulfilled. She is so funny because she wrote me a little list with everything she wrote for her birthday, y'all. It's so cute. Like, I just love her little spirit. I just love her little childlike innocence. And I just love to watch how my baby manifests, right? And it's like, I'm telling you, it'll be things that I said no to. that I don't want to do. And I still end up doing them for my baby because I know her little heart is creating with a wonderful world of imagination. And for us to be able to tap into that is the key to catching a feeling of your wish fulfilled. Breaking generational curses. You can be the one to break any generational curse, whether it's going from poverty to wealth, whether it's going from, always having to work and working overtime to wealth, to where money is generated with less effort for you, whether it's your SP living with you and marrying you, whatever it is that you are creating, whatever generational curse that you wish to break, you can do it. To seek out the knowledge that goes with having this thing that you want, right? Because you are your best investment. You are your best investment. You are chosen. You are the prize. You are the main operant power in your reality. There is nobody else that can control anything. Even if the 3D shows you something that you don't want to see, ignore it. Don't think about it no more. Don't give it no credence. Don't give it no room to growth. Kill that seed. That's just like this is what you need to do to thoughts that you don't like or 3D stuff that you don't like. I like to reference the Bible. So there was a parable about Jesus walking with his disciples by a tree and they were hungry. And when he went to the tree had no figs for them to eat. It was a fig tree. It had no figs for them to eat off of. So he cursed that tree. He said, since you're not going to feed me, since you're not able to feed me, you'll never feed anybody ever again. And then the next day when they rolled by, the tree was rotted up from the roots overnight. It like a tree rotting like that overnight, like he manifested that instantly. And you have to think about that's how you need to be. When a negative thought comes in or when you see something you don't like in your 3D, treat it as though it's a fig tree that did not give you any fruit and is dead and is dying and is gone. And by the next day, it is gone. That tree represents your ideals. That tree represents your thoughts. That tree represents circumstances. That tree was a circumstance. And the very next day, that circumstance was dead and gone, never to disappoint anybody again. That's how you treat in your reality. That's how you treat in your 3D. I love you guys so much, right? I'm done. I'm about to try to wind down and get ready for, my sleepy, drowsy, tuck myself in state, right? So I can create what I want to happen for tomorrow. And I want you guys to be able to create too. I love you, YouTube, so much. Y'all keep me going for real. Like, it be like stuff be bothering me in the 3D and everything. And then I'll be like, okay, let me get on here and make a video. And let me remind myself how powerful I am, how awesome I am, how I create my reality. And I always get what I want in my reality. And I literally always get what I want in my reality. I'm a little spoiled little princess. Actually, I'm an enchantress. I'm a spoiled enchantress at that. But nevertheless, I love y'all, YouTube, so much. And I will talk to y'all later. Bye.